I Sister Sorry with Sistah Sinema, and this is the Sistah Sinema Kingston Stud Life post-movie discussion. So we have the audience from Kingston. We also have Campbell X, the filmmaker for Stud Life, and then Tamia Miller, who plays JJ in the movie Stud Life.
I am over the moon, and it's like incredible and exciting to see all of you in one room. Thank you, Sistah Sinema Kingston.
Okay. And what's the inspiration behind the writing?
My inspiration was really London and people who live in London who are from all ethnicities and genders and who have amazing stories. And also studs who are online telling their stories on YouTube. So it was a mixture of the two. And also, you know, as you probably saw, there were people speaking patois, and language is really important to me, and it's important to see that in London there are different voices, there are many voices, not just the Cockney voice, but other voices as well.
Okay, excellent. That was a good question.
I'm sure you're one of the few people who understood everything in the barber scene.
I have a question about the word stud, because it's the first time I've met up on it in terms of using the. It's British, is that what they call, I suppose, what you really call butch? Or what's the history of that term at all?
So it's who is a stud and what's the history?
Yeah, in terms of the use of that word to describe women who are more masculine.
Oh, that's a really good question. Stud is actually African American slang for masculine of center woman. And I think it started in the 60s maybe, or even earlier. And it's only come into more general use because of the internet. Whereas before you used to have to read a history book or be part of African American or people of color communities to know about it, which is really the term used by white people. And that, of course, because they tell loads of stories, becomes more the current word to use. And now we're hearing things more from our perspective, because we're telling our stories and we can share them via the internet. I think this internet's been quite prominent in bringing it more into common use. There's also aggressive, that's another word, AG. There are quite a few words that are becoming more common.
You know, JJ was so different from any other kind of role that I had played before. It was a real challenge, and I had to do a lot of homework, as it were, before I kind of got on set and we started filming. So it was lots of fun. I had lots of fun on set, but I also had a lot. It was a huge learning curve for me. As an actor, it was just an interesting, you know, dynamic of the film. As JJ, also as an actor, when I was in rehearsal, Campbell asked me to do some what's called method acting, and I wore a chest binder. I looked like a boy for a couple of weeks before we started shooting, and the reaction I had from the general public was very different to the reaction I had as a woman going about London. It was far more hostile actually than the welcome in London that I know. I know there's certain members of the community who are homophobic, and it's there in the music and what have you. And I think the film reflected that. But the boys are actually, the guys who played the thugs are as soft as anything and very sweet. So, but it's a shame that it happens. It's a shame that many women who who are more masculine kind of do suffer that kind of hostility. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'll edit it out.
I think that, especially in London, there are all kinds of sects that we have, and especially it seems on the gay scene that people aren't afraid of expressing themselves, so there aren't as many taboos, and I think because you know, we're exposed to so much in London that you know, anything kind of goes, really, as long as you're kind of in agreement with it. So I think for a lot of lesbian movies or gay movies, they have less sex. And I think, Campbell, if I can speak for you here, Campbell didn't do that in her film. You know, she didn't want to shoot lesbian sex from a very male point of view. And she wanted to shoot the kind of sex that people have and show a different kind of sex, because we're always fed this image of, you know, girl on top of girl, and it's all very soft and what have you. And sex isn't always like sure.
Absolutely.
Why London?
Why London? Why did I film it in London?
Why London? Why not Kingston?
I would love to make a movie in Kingston. Me and Tania would love to come, but I live in London, so it was easier. It was easier to do. Actually, I'd like to tell a story shot in Jamaica. Some of you know that market called Papine?
Yeah.
My great-grandmother used to sell produce there. And I want to tell a story about my great-grandmother. So that's something that I like to do, and hopefully I'll be able to film that in Jamaica.
Is it self-funded?
It was financed through Indiegogo and through private investors and myself as well. So I put a lot of money into the movie. Yeah, so it's completely independent.
And if I can add something about that, you know, it being independent, it speaks to the importance of queer women of color supporting media that's about us and supporting filmmakers that are doing that work. So when Campbell says that it was funded by Indiegogo, that's, you know, 100+ women giving what they can to make Stud Life a reality. And that's really about, you know, queer women of color taking power away from Hollywood and what representations we see of ourselves. And that's, I mean, that's amazing. So that's awesome that that was a part of making Stud Life a reality.
Yeah.
And if you see campaigns like that, even if you can't give, if you can share and share it on Facebook or tweet about it, it's powerful.
How did you get started as a filmmaker?
I started out as a camera person, and I worked as an assistant camera. I trained for a year, and I trained for 2 years, working as an intern. And then I pitched a movie which was shown on TV. It was a short, and I continued to make films after that. So I was kind of fortunate to having been, you know, having my work been shown from very early on in my career. I would really love to hear more of your stories, so please email me. Georgia has my email. It would be good to keep in contact with you guys, because I'm all about the diaspora and global, and so is ISIS. And we need to have these global conversations directly with each other. It's really important.